Hey guys, what's up? Emo Cat Dad here, hanging out with you, bringing you yet another Emo Cat Dad listen. If you're new here, what I do is every day of 2024, I vow to check out a new band or artist. Today's band, as you can see right there, is the band 408. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to check out 4 songs from 408's discography, give you my thoughts on the songs individually, give you my thoughts on the band overall, and then of course, at the end, I will rank the songs before bidding you adieu. So what do I know about 408? Not a whole lot. The actual first thing that I've heard from 408 was back when I did the Magnolia Park video earlier this year, and I checked out a Magnolia Park song that had a 408 feature. I had heard the band name 408 pop up, either people talking about them featuring, or new songs, or being on tours that I'm interested in, but I've never actually had the chance to dive into them until today. So let's see if my suspicions are right, and this is a pop-punk band in the vein of Magnolia Park. So the first song I checked out was Dropout. They had a lot of earlier stuff. I think the band goes back to 2017, but none of that really took off. This song, I believe, was from 2020 or 2021, and it was kind of the first one to have like a decent amount of streams, so that's why I checked it out. There's a feature on this song. It's a band called Out of It. I looked them up. They seem to be pretty small, just a couple hundred monthly listeners on Spotify. And I couldn't really tell which was which because I hadn't listened to 408 really yet either. So I can't say for certain what was what, but I could say I enjoyed the vocals overall on the song. So assuming Out of It was part of that, it was a good feature. Overall, the song is a straight up pop punk song. There are some electronic elements in it. For the most part, they're in the background. But when they did come to the forefront of the song, I didn't really think it worked as well. But like I said, this was still early in the band's days, and I'm sure they were still playing around with sounds. Alright, next up, I checked out Backfired, which is their most streamed song on Spotify, and it's off their only album to this date, Out of It, from 2022. 'Cause it backfired, ashes to ashes. So this song has a Taylor Acorn feature. I do really enjoy Taylor Acorn quite a bit. Her feature was good, but it was muted in some parts, which kind of took away some of the enjoyment for me. But overall, I can't really complain. Also, the vocalist kind of sounds like Mark Hoppus in parts. So it's not surprising that they have a song called Mark Hoppus, because I'm sure I'm not the first person to say that. Let's talk about the music. The electronics were more prominent in this song than the last. However, they worked well together with the vibe of the song, so I didn't bump into them at all. Let's talk about that crescendo at the end. Oh, I love when songs are like kind of softer, and then at the end, all of a sudden, the music just picks up out of nowhere to end it. That's what the song does, and I enjoyed the heck out of it. Next up, we're taking it back to last year, and they released a song called We Don't Get High Like We Used To, and it got some viral attention on TikTok, apparently, and it's their second most streamed song, so I definitely had to check it out. Alright, so this is a generic pop-punk sounding song, generic pop-punk sounding lyrics, but I loved every minute of it. Talked to a guy that has many neck-deep shirts that say generic pop-punk. Pop-punk is in my veins. It could be the most generic thing in the world, and I'm still going to have a great time with it. The one negative I will say on the song is, if you've heard me do one of these before, I don't like repetition. It's got a pretty repetitive bridge. But the repetition is a little muted. They kind of say the first line loud, and then it kind of goes quiet for a bit, and there's some subtle screams over top of it, as well as the music changes. So I was able to convince my brain to more focus on that side of things rather than them repeating we don't get high like we used to, or like we used to anymore. Alright, last and not least, 408's gearing up for a new album to be released in the spring. The album is going to be called Hot Mess, and just last month in January they released the self-titled track from that album. So I checked that out. She's the hottest hot mess she can't get. Okay, so this was yet another banging track, but there were so many different voices on this, and there was no feature. Now, I kind of had that with Backfired as well. I made the point that the vocals in part sound like Mark Hoppus, so I had to look it up, and it turns out every member of this band sings. That's insanity. I am so excited to check them out live. This song would be so fun at a Warp Tour, or, we don't have those anymore, so like a Sad Summer Fest, or whatever other local fests you have. Blue Ridge Rock, Slam Dunk Festival if you're in the UK. What do we have here? Nothing really. We have to travel. Alright, so overall, my thoughts on 408 is such a fun time. Can't wait to check out this band more in the future. So excited for that album in spring. Definitely going to be in the album of the year contention for sure. Speaking of which, I will get those end of year videos up soon. I think I'm going to be lazy with it, so I don't have to do too much work. I finalized my albums list. I'm finalizing my EPs list, and then I'm going to work on songs, and we're going to get it all out to you. I also learned when looking up the vocalists that there was actually band member changes happening before the debut album. So maybe that's why the old stuff never got really much traction. Different sound. And also, spoiler alert for my ranking songs, why I enjoyed the pre-album song the least. Speaking of ranking the songs, let's do that now. At number 1, we're going Hot Mess. No issues whatsoever with the song. The repetitive bridge from We Don't Get High Like We Used To was the only thing that kept it from being number 1. Hot Mess is just perfect all the way around. I couldn't ask for anything more from a pop punk song. Number 2, as I just alluded to, We Don't Get High Like We Used To. Again, near perfect. Just a little issue with that repetitiveness in the bridge. But overall, I enjoyed my time. Number 3, Backfire. This came close to number 2, but unfortunately the Taylor Acorn feature just wasn't nearly as good as I thought it would be, being such a fan of hers. And as I alluded to previously, 4 is Dropout. Again, so I opted to put Backfired at 3. Early music never really took off for the band, so could just be a situation where they were still learning, and of course the member changes probably had an effect as well. No complaints overall about the song, but stacked up against these other 3, it's the clear 4th place finisher. Alright guys, so that's it for me, your friendly neighborhood Emo Cat Dad. I hope you keep coming back and checking out these videos. Like I said, I vowed to do this every day of 2024, and I need your help. I need more bands to check out, so hit the comments and give me some suggestions for bands, artists, whatever, to check out. If you got pop punk bands, I'd love to check them out. I've heard a lot of them, let's be honest, but, some slip through the cracks, like Magnolia Park, like 408, so definitely do that. And, come back tomorrow for when I do more of these, and the next day, and the next day. And you know what the easiest way to do that is? Is if you cut my wrist and hit subscribe. Emo Cat Dad out. Until next time, I want to hear you sad.